Hi, I'm Jill, and I'd like to welcome you to The Natural Way to Better Health and Wellness. Our guest today is Dr. Donald DeFabio, a board-certified chiropractic orthopedist who will be discussing the secrets of healthy aging. Dr. DeFabio, welcome to our show.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Jill. I'm really looking forward to having a good time.
Would you please give us some of your background, credentials, and expertise?
Yeah, well, I've been in practice 30 years. I'm a chiropractic doctor. I'm dual board certified in chiropractic orthopedics and sports injury management. I'm a corrective exercise specialist, a performance enhancement specialist. I hold numerous certifications in chiropractic techniques, and I happen to be the chiropractic doctor for the athletic department in 2 local universities. So, yeah, I got a lot going on.
Well, we really appreciate your time in coming and really telling us what is healthy aging.
That's a great question, and there's 2 ways to look at it, Jill. You can embrace the aging process, or you can just let it happen. We're all going to age. We're all going to go down that road. Now, if you just let it happen, your body's going to slowly deteriorate. And you're going to get into what I call the disability zone. Did you know that the average American is disabled in one way or another the last 12 years of their life? That's pretty significant, and a lot of people want to avoid that, especially the baby boomers like me. We want to stay away from that. So that's the aging process. Healthy aging is doing everything you can to go down that road as slow as possible, to minimize that disability zone so that you're active and fully functional for as many years as you have. That's healthy aging. Embracing the aging process, but also fighting it a little bit.
Well, how would we fight or control that aging process, doctor?
Well, there's lots of variables to do that, but before we talk about the factors that control the aging process, we have to look at how we measure it, because it can be measured, all right? And there are what we call biomarkers. There's markers of aging that we can actually measure and test. So you can see how fast or slow you're going down the aging road just by looking at your biomarkers.
Okay. And would some of them go up or go down, or?
Yeah, well, biomarkers are considered variables that we can measure, and yes, some go up, some go down. But when I say biomarkers of aging, what I mean are things like your cholesterol level, your ability of your body to metabolize sugar, glucose levels, your weight. All right? Usually we gain weight. Usually we gain body fat. So those are things that go up. What usually goes down are our reflexes, our balance, our muscle mass, our bone mass, osteoporosis, all right? Our immune system has a tendency to get weaker. So all these are types of biomarkers of aging, and they can all be measured today. They can all be tracked.
And how would we do that, doctor?
Usually it's through blood tests, or let's say it's your strength, your muscle mass, how much can you lift, all right? Do a hand strength test, all right? You're balanced, how well can you balance? So it's a combination of physical tests, it's a combination of lab tests, and then it's a combination of other testing protocols in terms of your immune system and your nutritional status and things like that.
Well, now we know we can measure those biomarkers, but what can we do to control them?
Yeah, which is great, Jill. Of the measurable biomarkers for aging, just about every one of them can be manipulated and controlled, and you can change that rate going down the aging road. Very simply, diet, nutritional supplements, specific nutritional supplements can impact different processes of the aging, chiropractic adjustments, and exercise. You put those 4 things into your anti-aging protocol, and now you have healthy aging.
Well, that's very extensive, but really not so simple. Perhaps if we were to focus on one of those interventions, exercise.
Yeah. I think that's a good choice. I think it's a good choice. We could probably spend the rest of the show just talking about that.
So could you tell us, how does exercise affect the aging process?
Well, one of the major things that happens when we age, it's called sarcopenia, which means our sarcomeres, or the muscle fibers, get shorter and weaker, and we get less of them, which means we get weaker. And sarcopenia will affect everybody. Exercise, specifically resistance exercise, is one of the best ways to reduce that effect on your body, sarcopenia, loss of muscle mass. And when you have loss of muscle mass, you get weaker, and you become less mobile, And it also affects your basal metabolic rate, how many calories you burn up. So you can see how losing muscle mass is a huge, huge player in the aging process.
Can that be stopped, doctor?
Yeah, sarcopenia can be stopped, it can be reversed, and it can be slowed down with resistance exercise. That's a really simple thing that everybody can do.
Well, thank you, doctor. I'd like to ask our viewers to take a short break, and when we come back, we can learn more about those effects of how we can reverse sarcopenia. Thank you. I'm Jill, and we'll stay tuned to the Natural Way to Better Health and Wellness, the secrets of healthy aging.
Did you know that omega-3 fatty acids that are found in fish oil can actually slow down the effects of sarcopenia or muscle wasting as we age? There was a study that came out of the UK, and they took women over 65 years of age and had them exercise twice a week for 30 minutes doing leg exercises. Half were given olive oil supplements, half were given fish oil supplements. The women that took the fish oil supplements gained twice as much muscle mass. That's huge. So take those omega-3 fatty acids to help reduce your risk for sarcopenia or muscle wasting as we age. Of course, you have to include resistance exercise with that to get maximum benefit. And remember, when you're choosing an omega-3 fatty acid, it needs to be purified, it needs to be fresh, it needs to come from fish as opposed to plant sources to get the maximum benefit, and it needs to have that ratio of EPA and DHA of 4:1 to get maximum therapeutic benefit. Take 1.5 grams of EPA and DHA a day, and that'll go a long way to improving your muscle mass when you exercise.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Jill. We're talking to Dr. Donald DeFabio about the secrets of healthy aging and sarcopenia, resistant exercise. Doctor?
That was pretty good, Jill. It was pretty good. Sarcopenia is not resistance exercise. Resistance exercise, it prevents and reverses sarcopenia. But for our viewers at home, resistance exercise is some type of exercise against a resistance, against a weight, against gravity, all right? Swimming, for example, is not a resistance exercise. It's a great exercise. It's great for your cardiovascular capacity, but it's not resistance. Resistance is using weights. Resistance is using a stretch band, okay? You can use your own body weight, but you have to do it enough so that it creates extra resistance. Just walking around becomes activity. But if you were to walk around carrying, your son or daughter a 10-pound weight, then it becomes a resistance exercise. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. And how would that be beneficial to me?
Well, what it does is it stimulates the muscles, and it also stimulates the bones as well. So it helps prevent and reverse osteoporosis. It helps strengthen the muscles and develops muscles. So as we age, what are the summer problems we run into? Well, weakness. You can't pick up things. You can't open up jars, right? You can't carry that case of water anymore. You have to get 6 packs of water, right? Yeah. And balance. Yes, balance is a nerve-related phenomena. It is related to the nerves, but you have to have the physical strength in your legs, in your feet, and in your hips, and in your midsection, your core, for balance. But also, muscles consume energy. So we have a tendency to get a little bit heavier as we get older. We gain a little fat. It's called basal metabolic rate. The ability of us to use calories slows down. Well, if you have less muscles burning up energy, that's why. You gain muscle mass, you burn more energy, so not only are you physically stronger, your metabolism is improved, and now you can open the jar and your balance is better, et cetera, et cetera. And for our diabetics, for people with blood sugar issues, it just consumes the blood sugar. So now your muscles will help you keep that blood sugar in check. So the variables are numerous that it impacts. So it's really one of the top exercises everybody needs to continue. In fact, research has shown that men who do resistance training live longer.
And do you have recommendations for that resistance
Yeah, another
training?
good question. Yeah, at least 3 times a week, preferably 5 times a week. And you don't want to go out and hurt yourself, but you do have to challenge yourself.
Okay. And then are there other types of exercises besides resistant exercises?
Well, resistance exercise is great for that sarcopenia, but we
Right.
talked about all the biomarkers of aging, all right? And cardiovascular exercise is got to be in there. Why? Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in America. Yeah, 30 to 45 minutes of cardiovascular disease, a brisk walk, elliptical, something like that, will decrease your risk of cardiovascular disease. So that's a starting block. It stimulates circulation. It improves cardiovascular fitness. And again, for our diabetic or blood sugar metabolism issues, it will improve the sensitivity of insulin up to 3 times, whether you're taking it or whether you're type 2 diabetic and you're just not using it as well. Cardiovascular exercise stimulates the body's ability to use insulin better. So it just makes a lot of sense. It's going to impact you on lots of different levels.
And are there better cardiovascular exercises? Do you have any recommendations?
Well, that depends on, number one, what you like, and if you have any physical limitations. You know, by the way, Jill, I don't know if I have to say this, but
Okay.
I want to make sure any of the viewers at home don't go out and do any exercises without checking with their doctor first. Okay?
Thank you, doctor.
Or they need to just make sure they're not doing anything that's going to hurt themselves. And that's what we do. You know, I'll examine somebody and say, all right, great, because of your needs, let's not have you run, let's have you do the stationary bike or the recumbent bike, or let's do the elliptical. So they're all great. Elliptical, rowing machine, stationary bike, swimming is great cardio, really fantastic, and is very joint saving. So it kind of depends on what your issues are.
Right.
But you need to get in at least 120 to 150 minutes a week. That's the bottom line, all right? And you don't have to be huffing and puffing to get the benefits. However, some research has shown interval training, where you work a little bit harder, a little slower, a little harder, a little slower, has been shown to decrease the aging process.
So when we come back, we're going to talk to Dr. DeFabio about another type of exercise for our secrets of healthy aging. Thank you, and we'll be right back.
Sports are essential for our youth today. In fact, consider this. Sports is the only part of the education process where it's positive reinforcement.
My son Liam's a basketball player, and he injured his knee last January. And Dr. DeFabio was recommended by the folks over at Gabriel Fitness.
As a gym owner, there's lots of people that need to be part of your team that you need to have relationships with to help keep your clients as healthy as possible.
One of the most common injuries we see with youth athletes is the sprained ankle or rolled ankle, and we get excellent results. I have a very unique protocol for that. We start treating them day one with, it's called Graston, but it's an instrument-assisted massage. Get the inflammation out, a special type of taping to stabilize it that doesn't restrict movement, adjustments on the foot if needed, and then exercises as soon as we can. And that gets kids back really, really quick.
Liam, he had a damage to his knee. Dr. DeFabio helped him pinpoint his issues, his form, and strengthen him, and basically give him the treatment that he needed to get better and start playing again.
The next common injury we see would probably be shoulder problems.
I woke up in the middle of the night and I was unable to lift my shoulder at all. It's important that I have both of my shoulders because I'm so dependent on them.
Balancing the muscles of the shoulder, but looking at the elbow, looking at the neck, looking at the upper back, because the shoulder girdle sits on the rib cage and it's all tied together. So you have to balance that whole area to get it working well.
When I'm here and I observe some of the treatments that Dr. DeFabio gives to my son, they're informative, and I think they're things that any athlete can use to prevent injuries and to stay in shape.
Whereas I think a lot of doctors, they just treat you when you come in, they send you on your way, and you're just coming back week after week. But the education, I think, is really important because it helps people understand why they're here.
Usually when you're here, it's because of something negative. You're not here, for anything other than trying to get better from something that was negative. And if there's a place to be, it would be here.
And as athletes start getting to a higher level, everyone's kind of on the same playing field, and what's going to give them that edge? And that's being able to stay healthy all the time. And Dr. DeFabio, I've seen firsthand, has been able to do that.
The great thing about using sports medicine for everybody is, what does an athlete want? They want to get better quickly. They want to stay in the game. That's what I bring to the table with all of my patients. Rapid results and staying in the game. What can you do versus what you can't do?
Hi, I'm Jill, and we're talking to Dr. Donald DeFabio about the secrets of healthy aging and exercise. Doctor, you talked about cardio and resistive training, but is there another component to exercise?
Sure there is. It's flexibility. You have to have range of motion. You have to have movement in your joints and in your muscles to be able to exercise. If you're all stiff and locked up, you can't exercise the muscles, and sarcopenia will set in, and you can't do your cardio, and your basal metabolic rate won't come up, and your insulin sensitivity won't, increase. So yes, you have to have mobility. You have to have flexibility.
So when you mean flexibility, what type of exercise would that be? Like yoga? Or?
Yoga's great. I'm a big fan of yoga. You not only get flexibility, you also get meditation, you get breathing, so it's good. For people who want to do things at home, there's a device I recommend. It's a self-massage stick called the Intracell Stick. And it works real well. You just kind of roll it on your legs and on your back, and it's easy, works really well. In fact, I give it to all my athletes as a warm-up. It loosens the muscles and lengthens them. A little more aggressive for anti-aging, but people who are more active can use what's called a foam roller. Another nice way to loosen up the soft tissues, the muscles, the tendons, to loosen up those types of things. It doesn't really get to the joints, though.
So, doctor, you mentioned muscles, tendons, and joints. The muscles and the tendons are the soft tissues?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the joints are what gets stiff? Is that?
Well, the joints can get stiff as well. They work together. Okay. Joints are muscles move the joints. So if the muscles aren't pliable and elastic like a rubber band, you have a problem, and that's where the stick and the foam roller and yoga come in. But if the joint is locked up, well, that's where I come in. As a chiropractic doctor, my job is to determine, are the joints moving freely? Not just the spine. I'm a sports chiropractic doctor. I can adjust any joint in the body. If it's supposed to move, I know how to get it to move. So my job is to look at the joint. First of all, is it healthy? Is it degenerative? Is there a problem with it? Can it tolerate exercise? And if it can, which ones? But more importantly, can it restore any motion that's been lost? When joints move, you have to get that fluid that's in the joint sloshed around, to use a technical term, to all the nooks and crannies of the joint. That keeps the joint surface healthy. When a joint doesn't move properly, it'll deteriorate. Research has shown stiff joints will create arthritic change in the body. Yeah, that's why it's so important to maintain your joint health with chiropractic adjustments, as well as stretching, as well as cardio, as well as strength training. Research has shown strength training reduces osteoarthritis too, because it sloshes that fluid around. So you have to do a combination of all things.
So it's keeping everything moving.
Yeah.
Your muscles, your joints, your...
And then you throw in some cognitive tests, do some crossword or word search for your brain. It's really a whole pattern. And I know, Jill, we haven't talked a lot about diet. We haven't talked a lot about nutritional supplements. And the aging process, Ponce de Leon was right. Looking for the fountain of vitality, the fountain of youth, he was right with one aspect, is that you have to fight to stay young. There isn't one anti-aging, healthy aging process pill. But if you work at staying healthy as you age, you will go down that road so much slower and you'll avoid that disability zone. But it's a process that you have to engage in, and you have to be proactive with your doctor.
Well, I understand moving keeps you feeling...
Motion is life. Motion is life. And when you get up in the morning, you're all stiff. What's the first thing you think? God, I feel like I'm 135 years old. I can't say I'm 90 anymore because I'm getting too close to that. But when you're stiff and tight, you really feel old.
Right.
When you're limber and loose and everything's moving, you have that jump in your step. You have that joie de vie, they call it. It really is pretty straightforward.
So it sounds like we have to do a little bit of everything.
Exactly. And you have to balance it.
Balance.
Some people are very flexible. They need more strength training. Some people are very stiff. They need more flexibility. Hey, we talked about just about everybody needs cardio.
Right.
Number one killer in America. If you don't do anything, get off the couch and go for a walk. Okay? So, whether you need more of cardio, whether more flexibility, more strength training, that depends on your individual needs, but you really have to address all three.
Well, it is a lot of information, but what additional topics do we need to discuss?
Well, I really need to spend some time talking about diet, how your food impacts the aging process to grow old gracefully, let's say, and nutritional supplements. We can use nutritional supplements now as nutraceuticals. That means taking certain supplements that are safe in certain combinations and in certain amounts, again, that are safe, that actually create a change in the body's biochemistry, almost like a medication, but not. But it actually changes the biochemistry, and if we're looking at those biomarkers of aging, your cholesterol level, your blood sugar level, your strength, your aerobic capacity, your balance, we can measure all that, and certain of those, how about your hormone levels? We didn't even touch that at all. And that can be impacted by exercise too. When you exercise, especially men, resistance exercise helps boost up your testosterone levels. So there's lots of layers.
That sounds fantastic.
No, it's good information. It's good information. And if anybody has any questions, they're more than welcome to contact me at my office. I'm in Berkeley Heights. My phone number is 908-771-0220. And give me a call. If I can help them out, I'll let them know. If I can't, we'll let them know too. But my goal today is to help empower people to take charge of their health. My father-in-law told me, and he was a chiropractic doctor, that age is not an excuse to ignore your health. And he told me that, 35 years ago. And it's always stuck with me. And if I can have the viewers grasp that, I think that would be wonderful.
Well, your whole perspective on healthy aging,
Exactly.
it really gives everyone hope and reassurance that we can live a fuller, active, more functioning life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's estimated that the body can stay alive, can live to 125, 130 years right now. But you have to give it the tools to stay there. You have to give it the help to stay there. And, exercise is the component we talked about today, but also eating right, and nutritional supplements, all those other things are part of it. And if you take charge of your health, you're going to be more active, and you can do all those things you want to do on your bucket list, and you can be around for not just your children, but for your great-great-grandchildren.
So, Doctor, can you please tell us what are the factors of healthy aging?
Well,
and
I like
those
to call
secrets?
Yeah, you got it. I like to call them my secrets of healthy aging. They're very simple. There's just 5. Embrace the aging process. Be grateful that you're getting older and that you're not already dead. Embrace the aging process. Exercise, balance of cardio, resistance, flexibility. Make sure you get in 120 to 150 minutes of cardiovascular exercise a week. Make sure you maintain your flexibility and take your chiropractic adjustments to keep those joints loosened up. Real simple, but you'll do that and that'll start you very slowly on the aging road.
Thank you, Dr. Donald DeFabio. I'm Jill, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Natural Way to Better Health and Wellness.